What's up, YouTube people? Welcome to Jasmine T TV. I am Jasmine T. If you are new to this channel, then welcome. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload new content. Now today, guys, we are getting into the pros and cons for me personally, why I am moving to Mexico, okay? Why I chose Mexico as my next destination. Please keep in mind, I have never been to Mexico before. When I moved to South Korea, I had never been before. When I moved to Poland, I had never been before, okay? You will see the title is part 2, all right? This is a series, How to Move Abroad. You know, I didn't want to get too complicated with the name, all right? How to Move Abroad Part 2. You can click above to see Part 1 where, you know, we kind of had fun with it. People kind of guessed. I gave hints and people guessed which country I was moving to. Now, we all know that it is Mexico, and I talked about a few other things. So you can definitely check out that video, all right? But today we are delving deeper into why I chose Mexico. So let's get right into it with pro number 1. That is the distance, okay? The distance. I will still be close to home, but yet far, all right? So I will still be close, yet far from home. And this is the first time that I will be out of the country and not umpteen hours away, all right? So that really makes a huge difference. Y'all, I missed a lot. I miss weddings, I miss baby showers, I miss funerals, okay? And so this is realistically a time where even if I just want to go home for a weekend, right? I could realistically do that. Before it wasn't so easy to do that, or it just didn't make sense to do that. All right. And then even crossing that border, this kind of brings us into pro number 2 is the visa, the residency, crossing that border and getting an automatic 6 months, being able to come and go freely in that capacity is also a pro. Okay. So, you know, I had a long residency process in Poland. We not even gonna get into that. All right. I missed 2 Christmases in a row. I don't foresee myself doing anything like that again unless I have very, very good reason, okay? And I'm an American passport holder, so I'm speaking from an American passport holder perspective, okay? But I do encourage you, if you do have a passport from somewhere else, just type in your country name, country passport holder, visa-free travel, and see what pops up, see what opportunities are out there for you. But when I do videos on this channel, I am speaking from an American passport point of view, okay? And so that's number 2. Number 3 would definitely be the language, okay? Living in Korea, I learned Hangul, which is their alphabet, and I learned basic words. But when I decided, hey, I don't want to live here anymore, I know that this will not be a permanent situation for me, I gave up. And so I kind of try to do things differently in Poland, and I really put in effort to learn the language. And when I realized that there were 16 ways to say the number 2, ain't nobody got time for that, all right? So for me, that was very, very difficult. But going to Mexico, I'm about to put this high school Spanish to use, okay? High school Spanish, I did do a couple of years in college as well. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I am not fluent, but I will be much better off, you know, arriving in the country with my language skills than I had in previous places. Okay. So I'm really, really looking forward to that because it's important. All right. Being able to communicate with the locals, being able to communicate with the people there is definitely going to give you a better quality of life. It's going to make things easier, give you a different perspective, and like I said, overall better quality of life. All right. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the culture. All right. The culture. So I'm from the South, Southern hospitality. One thing that really stood out is like the warmth and speaking to strangers. And like I say, being where I'm from South Carolina, 803 stand up. All right. Being from South Carolina, we have that Southern hospitality. It's not strange for me to go into a grocery store around here. And if I'm standing in line and I see, you know, some beer I've never tried in somebody's buggy, shopping cart, wherever you're from, we call it a buggy. All right. So in somebody's buggy, I'm going to say, hey, have you ever had that before? I've never tried it. Do you recommend it? You know, things like that. That's not strange for us. I'm really looking forward to being in a place where people speak to strangers. All right. That wasn't Poland. All right. So people were nice, but it's not a strike up a conversation. There aren't people really chatting on the public transportation like that. That's just not the way they roll. All right. I do a lot of research. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I'm in expat groups, specifically the Black Mexpats. That's a group that I've been in pretty heavy for months. I've just been gathering information from that. And I appreciate all the people in there that, you know, that provide their experiences, share resources. That's where I get a lot of this information from. All right. And I hold no secret that I do a lot of my research from YouTube videos, from other YouTubers, and from Facebook, okay? That is how I prepare, okay? All right, so those are pretty much like the top pros. Now we're gonna get into some neutral area, all right? Some neutral area. You can look at it how you want, but it could be a pro or a con for me, all right? And that would be the weather, all right? So I am looking forward to the sun. But one of the places that I was looking at, one of the cities that I was looking at going to was Merida. And Merida, I want to go there because it is like the second or third, I can't remember, the second or third safest city in all of North America, but it is hellishly hot. All right, people, I don't think I can really fathom how hot it is the way people are talking about it, but I know it's a different type of heat. And even though I'm from the South, I don't know if I'm really, I don't know if I've ever experienced this type of heat, and I ain't trying to pass out walking down the street, okay? That's just not something that I'm trying to do. People talking about the humidity. I was watching one YouTube video, and the guy was talking about, you know, having this item next to his electronics, next to his laptop, next to his cell phone at night that kind of draws in the moisture because the moisture was messing up his laptop. And okay, that's a different type. I've never had to experience that before. So that's really something to think about. And with the climate, sis, the hair, all right? The hair. What is this hair about to act like in this new climate, all right? So I understand that Mexico is huge and, you know, different weather in different parts or whatever. So I really am looking forward, but not looking forward to the experimenting that must happen with this hair, okay? So in Poland, I generally kept it in protective styles, but I want to kind of switch it up. I want to have the ability to switch it up from time to time. And if it's like super duper humid, that's probably not going to work for me. Okay. So definitely have to figure that out. All right. So that's one pro/con situation. Also the prices. Okay. The prices. Why I'm saying this is pro versus con, because, you know, Americans, I think when we hear Mexico, we think, oh, it's so cheap. But cheap is a relative term, all right? I don't know what you got in your bank account. You ain't gonna know what I got in my bank account, okay? But I think that if you want to spend $300-$400 on a place, you might be able to find that deal. Will it have everything on your wish list? Probably not. Will it be in the city that you want? Probably not. And from what I've been seeing from the OGs that's been down there, like back in the day, yeah, it was hella cheap, okay? But then we started using the word cheap, and the locals were like, oh, it's cheap, eh? Well, let me on these prices, all right? Let me show y'all how cheap it can be. So I think you can still find something that works for you, but then maybe it might be harder to find that diamond in the rough. It just depends on your wish list. So I still have a question mark on what the price tag is for the standard of living that I want. Okay, that is still unknown to me, especially since I'm going down there to try it out and kind of go from city to city to city to see which one I vibe with. That's going to be interesting. So I already got my Airbnb for a month in Mexico City. It wasn't quite the price that I wanted to pay, but then again, I'm only getting something for a month. Also, I read that a lot of places, or it's common practice to want an aval, all right, I might be pronouncing it wrong, but it's a co-signer for a lease. I don't know nobody down there. Ain't nobody about to sign for me. They don't know me, okay? So it's going to take some time. In Poland, it wasn't like that. In Poland, it was like, what's your passport number? You got money or not? You know, so I think that it's going to take a little bit, not a lot. I don't have to show like credit or anything like that, but I think it's just going to take a little bit more time in Mexico to find that right place, to find that right fit for you. Okay, so that's at least what I'm anticipating. All right, and I did a search over quite a few real estate websites that were recommended in the expat groups, but it seems like the food prices still look favorable, still look affordable. For me, it's all about what can I get quality, healthy food for a decent price, because as we all know, sometimes it's harder to eat healthy in America because of the cost, all right? Sometimes it's just easier to swing and get that dollar menu than it is to eat healthy, all right? It takes time and it takes moolah to do so. All right, so those are like my mid pro-con situations. Now we're just gonna dive right into the cons, okay, for me. So one of the first things that people mention when I say, hey, you know, I'm moving to Mexico. This is family and friends. You know, they're like, oh, well, what about the cartels? You know, when I moved to Mexico, I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna change my name to Bennett. All right, my name Bennett. I ain't in it. All right, I know nothing. I see nothing. I hear nothing. I am but a child. Okay, I know nothing. Okay, I saw somebody post in the Black Mexpat group, because you guys can tell this is really like my favorite group. I've been lurking for a while in there. But somebody said, if you don't have any business with them, they don't have any business with you. And that's the motto that I'm going to take. I'm not in nothing. All right. And I kind of want to bring up, I was watching Tangerine Travels. All right. Tangerine Travels in a recent, well, it's been a couple of months since they put out this video, but in a video they put out, they shared a clip of these two gentlemen who wanted to go bird watching. All right. And so I feel like this deserves its own video, and we'll talk about this later. But I just wanted to touch on it because I know what Tangerine Travel said about the video. I went to the guy's Facebook page and kind of read up what they had to say about the video. Long story short, in this video, they were going bird watching. They were driving down this dirt road. It's just the two of them. It seems neither of them spoke Spanish. And on this dirt road, a white truck begins following them. First, they're like, no, it's nothing, until this white truck speeds up, speeds past them, blocks them, comes out with guns, right? So very terrifying, very traumatic experience, no matter what the situation was, not making light of the situation at all, right? So I don't know if they got lost. I don't know if they intentionally, just said, hey, we're going to go out and explore today. I'm not really sure. All I know is the point is it could happen to anybody. You could get lost, all right? But I wouldn't intentionally, if that was the case, I wouldn't intentionally go out on my own and explore. I don't think that this is the place to do that. All right. There are plenty of tours. I Googled, there are bird watching tours that you can sign up for, and you can have a guide take you, and you know that you are headed in the right direction. All right. That's just me. So anything that I do, I'm gonna make sure that it's a tour. I'm gonna make sure that I have some type of guide, somebody that knows what they're talking about, somebody that's gonna be like, hey, don't go down there. Like that's what I need in my life. I'm not gonna go out here and just like, oh, I want to go see this today. All right. Not knocking these guys. I don't know the situation. They definitely could have just been lost. All right. I don't know. But that's just a note that I want to make. So basically using common sense. Okay. I will have to make sure that I'm using common sense. And depending on where you're coming from, you might not have this level of awareness, right? You could be in a very relaxed environment, okay? If you have lived in Korea, then you can understand. You can kind of like leave your things out in the open and not really worry about anybody messing with them, right? So it was one night, I had been drinking. We were out, and I don't know what was going on this night, but I left my phone in almost every bar that we went to, and it would be like an hour, and I'd be like, my phone. And so we'll go back, try to look for the phone, thinking, oh, it's not gonna be there. Every time it was there. I don't know what I had going on that night, y'all, but my phone was there, and I remember the next day thinking like, that would not happen in the States, okay? My phone would have been gone, would have been sold, would have been somebody else's. It was no longer mine, okay? And so it was just like, okay, I know that when I get back home, I'm gonna have to straighten up because that's not how things operate back home. So if you're coming from a very relaxed environment, you're gonna have to switch it up, all right? You're gonna have to go into a different gear. Also, even being in Poland, I was never really worried about like, going to the ATM, how much money do I have on me at this moment? You know what I'm saying? And so I've been reading accounts, I've been reading posts from people who are just like, hey, I'm mindful about how much money I have on me. I'm even mindful about leaving my stuff out in my apartment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, oh, got to move differently. And hopefully it becomes second nature because the tips that they're talking about, really, I should have been practicing all along. Okay. Really and truly should have been practicing all along. And this kind of stuff can happen anywhere. I remember I was working with a teacher who lived in Italy, and she talked about how she was walking and her entire purse got snatched. Passport was in there and everything like that. And so you just have to be like, I'm just thinking about, okay, all the precautions that I can take in the event something like this could possibly happen. It can happen anywhere, okay? So I need to kind of boost up that common sense and kind of boost up those precautions, okay? So yeah, these are all the factors that I weighed in making this decision to move to Mexico. But overall, things that I've read about the culture, the language, the distance, kind of outweigh everything else. The rest is just like, hey, use common sense. That's just what I plan to do, even though I was always told common sense say so common. Hopefully I got a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, this is part 2. I plan to do another video about what I pack because I have not packed yet. Okay, I've been gathering items, but I have not put it all together yet. Make sure you also go to JasmineTTV.com if you have questions about, certain things that I do, or you just want to talk about your plan to move abroad. You can certainly book a consultation there. And I said in the last video that I was coming out with an ebook. It is now available on JasmineTTV.com. The link is in the description box below, so you can go there. Make sure you follow the directions on the product page. It is free, so there are some instructions to make sure that you can get that free download. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Follow me on Instagram, JasmineT_TV, if you want to see my daily life. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.